WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. That is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. As always, check us out on battleviewer.com if you're not there already. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can check out the question of the day.
Which is, which side do you think is stronger on Himmelsdorf? Both of us answered defense.
That's right. Also, just touching on the fact that, statistically, it is 50-50. It is even on both sides. So excited to see. Hasn't been played yet tonight, but if it is played, to see how that goes.
I was really hoping I'd drop this question and everybody would be playing Himmelsdorf.
Oh, man.
But
well,
no.
we have two more matches, ladies and gentlemen. And up next, our third match of the night is going to be Refuse versus Rival. For the face-off, we've got Cool Hammer and from Refuse, Spanish from Rival. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Ole.
Ole.
Hola.
It's Ola. Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
that's fine.
Well, okay, whatever.
Cool Hammer, sir. On the side of Refuse, we're gonna go ahead and talk to you guys. Now, this is something that I've been asking the teams tonight. I'm really been fascinated and learning and keeping track on how each team does it. But how does calling work on your guys' team?
We have like a main caller like everyone else. And
Great.
When the battle starts, we have 7 callers, each one caller for himself.
Oh, okay. Do you guys employ the battle buddy system as well? It's just maybe is it the fire team?
No, we
People
don't
call
use
it
that
different
system.
things. They don't. They play a little bit faster.
They play fast paced. Everyone's just there in their own world.
A little bit more spread than that.
Okay.
So, second question for you is who would you say is your center of morale? Who are the most important people on your team for everybody's mental well-being?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's our king, Sublime Banana. So yeah, everyone looks up to him.
That's awesome. That's a great.
No joke. I'm serious, really.
I thought you were
It's our
dead
king.
serious, Cool Hammer.
Yeah.
I thought he was just ducking the question and being smooth because he's the team captain and everybody looks up to him.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay.
I'm not sure if I believe
Well,
you,
we're
Hammer.
gonna move on, Cool Hammer. That's enough from you. Spanish on the side of Rival. We're gonna go ahead and talk to you guys. Same thing I kind of asked Maple Freedom. You guys both coming out of the Silver Leagues. So far this season, what is just one of the major things or a big thing that you guys have learned as a team together?
That's a good question. One of the major things that we learned, and it's something that we had a pretty good idea on beforehand, was that teams in this league are going to punish mistakes. If you make mistakes, you're going to get punished. On the opposite end of that, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to make the other team make mistakes and punish those.
Wow, that sounds like that's it right there, right? If you can do that, then you're good. You're golden. That's a great thing to learn, and hopefully you guys get to implement that more and more as the season goes on.
So in terms of gameplay mechanics, there are things that are incredibly important, like tracking, penetrating your shots,
Okay.
obviously.
Sure.
Out of all those, which do you think your team needs to improve on the most, Spanish?
Hitting shots.
Hitting shots.
Wow. Just
Hitting shots.
Starting at the beginning.
Hitting shots, just the basics. If we could get a track shot, great. If we could get focus fire damage, fantastic. But our biggest weakness this point in the season is not penetrating our shots.
All right. Well, again, a great thing to start out. If you work on that and you do the other one, you guys are going to be at the top in no time. Gentlemen, thank you for that so much. Cool Hammer, starting with you. Any words for Rival before you get into the battle?
I just wanted to tell everyone that our player KT is on vacation on Hawaii. So if you picked him on your fantasy, I'm sorry for that. If not for Rival, good luck and see you on the battlefield.
Spanish, anything you have to say to Cool Hammer?
Well, I would like to say first off that we don't have anybody missing.
Okay,
So
there you
that's
go.
a good start. So if you pick one of us, you're good. Number 2, we're channeling the power of the sombrero.
Oh, wow.
As well as the power of Chuck Norris.
Oh,
and,
it's over.
Good
It's
luck,
over.
have fun to Refuse, because you guys are going to need it against the sombrero power and
Yeah.
the Chuck Norris power.
Sombrero
All
Norris. Sombrero Norris is coming to town. Cool Hammer in Spanish. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys in the
Thank
battle. Best of luck to both of you.
Trying to lean in there to look Cool Hammer in the eyes. So I think you're trolling us, Hammer.
Who?
I
If-
spoke to KT last night.
If that is true, I mean, there was heat coming off of this man.
No, I didn't pick him today.
Oh, you
I
did?
didn't pick him today. No,
Oh,
because
I thought
last
you were
time
just, like about to blow up
last
into a
time I picked
volcano of
him-
rage.
last time I picked him, he didn't put up the points. So today I picked Drogon,
Gotcha.
but I still think he's trolling us.
Okay, well, you know what? There's one way to find out, but let's first take a look at the rosters for both the teams. Going to see who's on vacation, who's on not. Either way, they're all going to be here. David.
Well, unfortunately, there's no gone on vacation part on this. KT.
That's true.
Actually, Refuse is a very interesting case to talk about statistically, which is the theme of the night, talking about raw stats and what they say. So we're going to go with Rival. Overall, for Rival, as he said, biggest thing that stood out was their whole team struggled to penetrate the shot that they hit. And that is, they cleaned that up. The rest of their numbers look pretty solid.
Okay.
So, honestly, that was really the only thing that stuck out. For Refuse, it's even harder to talk about just because everybody's so good on the numbers. Now, they've had a lot of games that have gone long, so
okay.
But their penetration rates are among the top in the league.
Really?
The shots, they hit their shots the most,
they are the top of the
penetrate
league.
them the most. Yeah, in a couple ways. KT leads everybody on the team, followed by Cool and Drogon, who kind of have a well-rounded thing. But one of the most statistical outliers out of everything was E63M6. He's just a sniper.
God
Everything
mode.
he did, it was a highest penetration rate, highest hit rate of the league that I saw.
Wow.
I'd have to really sit down and verify that. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. Either way, E63, awesome.
All right, well, let's get, ladies and gentlemen, our third match of the night is ready to go. Refuse Gaming versus Rival. Going to start on Ruinberg. Let's get right into it. Take a look at what we've got for tanks and keep our eyes out on some of these key players.
Cool Hammer, you dog.
Oh, KT's out in Hawaii. Maybe he's playing in Hawaii. That would make sense.
Yes, indeed. So, for Refuse Gaming, 3 IS-3s, 2 T-54 lightweights, and an LTTB, WZ-131. For Team Rival, 5100, 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, and MT-25.
KT is definitely not in the battle here. Going on over, starting up Refuse Gaming. Pushing through the city completely. Shots going away. Rude Awakening in his WZ-131, already going right into the center. Finding that middle road. The rest of Team Rival now coming around the side. They're still maintaining the city. Memory Leak is spotted on the side of Refuse. Now Rude Awakening getting tracked and taking a shot. Rival doing a better job right off the bat. Actually hitting those shots they were talking about. But over on the side of Rival, Urtai in his TVD4 taking a good chunk of damage here. Rude Awakening just trying to get somewhere to get to safety. HK looks like he's getting ready to meet him as well. Not sure there's a good place for him to run right now. He can go back over to that zero line, going through. Now we've got HK running on the side and finding the rest of his team. Rival, though, Urtai getting focus fired. HK, though, going to find Rude Awakening. The first pickup of the match. Urtai getting out of there just by the skin of his teeth. His T-54, and now a tank going down for the side of Refuse. And it looks like now Rival kind of grouping up over here, something I haven't seen before. Obviously, they're not in a position to push that, that eastern cap, the number 2 base, as you guys see on the mini-map there. You think they're just going to go ahead and likely run back into the city and keep kind of farming their way through there?
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to pivot, go around the western side and get into the AB.
All right, going back through, we have HK, Urtai, the Django, and Hall, all pushing in together. World War II Fanatic, Valkyrie. Main think of Rival going to sit back. Looks like they're deciding to go over to this northern cap. There is, though, Sublime Banana talking about the hype color, the center of morale in that IS-3, along with Memory Leak and his LTTB. Haven't actually spotted a member of Rival yet. Going through, Hall's moving on the way to Django. Question is going to be, if they don't get spotted here, if Rival can find this overmatch, because it is going to be a 4-on-2 here. HK and that MT-25 pushing up very aggressively over on the side of World 2 Fanatic. And Anubis just spotted out, but now Memory Leak finding HK. Let's see what can happen. LTTB versus them. See the shot going off. Not connecting, but now Memory Leak is in a lot of trouble. 4 members of Rival going on against him side. Cap pressure going on. Urtai gonna find that kill. Almost going down himself. 30 seconds now being applied for the cap, and Rival finding the second tank of the game against Refuse, but the HP still in Refuse's favor, as so many tanks are going low. Sublime Banana finding the Django, now taking a tank for himself. Urtai again, extremely in a dangerous position. E63 and his T-54 making his way over. Maybe trying to look for HK here as Anubis and Valkyrie pushing into the city against 2 members, 2 IS-3s. Against 2 IS-3s that happened. Looks like it was KT who was set on fire by Valkyrie. E63 taking some damage over there from the side. HK doing a good amount, but going extremely low himself. One more shot, he will go down. The question is, can he do damage before he does to try and help his team out in any way that he can? Sublime Banana on the reload, just has to pop out and take the shot. World War II Fanatic, though, E63 in a lot of trouble. He is fully loaded in that 5100. E63 trying to get on the side. 800 points of damage going down. Just 4 members remain for Refuse Gaming. They're doing fantastic. They are finding their way. They're clawing their way back. Not back, they're clawing their way even further in victory against the top team right now of the league. Coolhammer finding Anubis. HK still extremely low. Sublime Banana back-to-back kills, finding World 2 Fnatic. Let's see if Refuse Gaming can turn on. It's not over yet. They can still take this one, and an IS3 extremely healthy. HK just doing a little bit of damage, going back and forth, picking that one up in there. Urtai made it to safety behind the village. But Valkyrie finding Coolhammer over in Delta Village, and that IS3 clearing up every remaining member on that side of the map there for Refuse Gaming. Dazzling Time making his way through the city. The question is, what can he do? 2v4, 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. An explosive first battle for our third match of the night. Dazzling Time running in. He's looking for HK. He comes around the corner. He picks him up. No time had wasted there. 2 minutes and 40 seconds now. The clock continues to go down. Let's see what Refuse Gaming can do.
This is a tricky situation for Refuse. Right now, they can be capped out from the south.
Sure.
But if Rival puts too many on, it's going to give Refuse an easy path back. Refuse just needs to find a way to get there, taking as little damage as possible. And if they do that, it's a very good chance they can clean it up. They have nearly full health on both tanks.
All right, let's see if they can fill that order. A tall order indeed, as 3 remaining members are there on offense, have put the cap pressure on. It is now up to this IS3 and this T54. IS3 being driven by Sublime Banana here. As we were saying, the center of morale for the team against Dazzling Time. I guess if you wanted to have a member to fight by your side in the last moments, it would be good to have the center of morale. As he's making way across, though, taking a good chunk of damage there from Valkyrie and Hall. David, I guess it does, like you're saying, coming down to how much damage can they take on the way over. Obviously, only putting 1 member on the base for Rival. Dazzling Time, 667 points of damage, dropping him to below half health. That is not what you want to have happen as you're pressing the team who has the defensive positioning. The question is Sublime Banana stopping. Looks like he's looking for the shot, waiting for Valkyrie to pop out. Hall backing off. See how much damage he can do. Dazzling Time rushing in their full speed. Let's see what happens. Takes the shot, missing Hall. Now going to find cover against the side, and Hall looks like he might be going over to join the base. No, he's just trying to find a repositioning, find Sublime Banana. Because if he can get around the corner from the side shot on I3, he might be able to take this. Valkyrie, though, getting extremely low. Hall actually missing a shot. Urtai having to stay on. Dazzling Time picking up Valkyrie. Refuse Gaming showing that they have what it takes. Not over yet until it is over. 1 minute, though, on the clock. 30 seconds down on the cap timer. They need to find Hall, and they need to find Urtai. Urtai will be a lot easier to go down. A shot going on to Sublime Banana. Nothing happening. Hall taking some good damage. Dazzling Time missing a shot, and at this time of the game, every single shot counts. 22 seconds remain. Dazzling Time got to be worried now. He's one more shot away. Sublime Banana looking to take down Hall. If he can get a shot, he'll take it. Sublime Banana picks it up, and now it is just Urtai. He has a shot loading up. If Dazzling Time can turn his turn in time, he'll take him out. 13 seconds remain. Urtai finding Dazzling. One more shot, and he can clamp this one up, but Sublime Banana will have the shot ready and willing. 7 seconds. He'll pick it up. Sublime Banana coming all the way back. A beautiful clawback for Refuse Gaming, showing that they are on top for a reason. A fantastic, explosive battle right off the bat on the Ruin Break.
I honestly didn't expect that battle to be as close as it was at all, let alone for that to for Refuse to come back from that situation. Dazzling Time struggling a number of times to get himself in the right position, to hit his shots, to not do it, but Sublime putting the whole team on his shoulders and carrying it out. Let's go to stats right now, because everybody wants to see what happened there.
Let's do it.
Everybody. Sublime Banana.
Bazana.
Change your name, and then that'll be correct. All right, 10 shots, 8 hits, 8 penetrations, 2293. Hitting them when it mattered. That's the most important part. Coolhammer, 2273. Both of them doing a great job. E63, living up to the hype we were giving him about accuracy. Everybody else struggling to get into the fight or to penetrate their shots. Or, getting isolated very quickly. Because Rival, very smart plays from Rival. Valkyrie Viewers for Rival, 2693. Airtie, Hall, and Anubis all near the top. Fnatic in his 5100 not quite finding the actual angle in. Typically on that team, I would say that Fnatic is a great player and a great pick for fantasy. In this specific fight, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about him not necessarily playing well, because the rest of the team can exploit what I'm about to say. But him putting up the points, I don't think is going to be particularly common in this set, as he's driving a 5100 and refuses too good to let a 5100 just drive around willy-nilly.
Okay.
So if he gets ahead of himself at all, if he doesn't play calm,
they'll shut him down.
Very patient, and honestly pub star his team and just let them take everything and come in late, which he's not going to want to do. He's too good for that.
Sure.
But in this instance, Otherwise, you're going to get picked on. The rest of his team can exploit that, though. Valkyrie Viewus, like I said, we've been doing the statistical breakdowns. Valkyrie Viewus turned out to be pretty much the most important person on the team. In his overall statistics, he didn't have the highest of anything, but he had the highest, well, I think he had the highest track damage, but in general across the board. And again, that's just very quick analysis, not to be taken as like biblical truth in this instance or anything. But that's what I saw, and it certainly matches up. I know he's been a great player, but Fnatic, obviously important, Anubis important for calling. And they almost took that one.
Absolutely. I mean, got down to the last inch of health there for Refuse Gaming, but Refuse Gaming have taken it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into our next battle of our third match of the night. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks. We are on the same sides.
So with Refuse Gaming at 5100, 2 IS3s, 2 T54 lightweights, an LTTB, and a WZ131. I like the combo of the two. You get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
Rival with 5100, 2 IS3s, 3 T54 lightweights, and MT25.
All right, starting out. Now, one thing before maybe this gets into the battle at hand. Rival last time going over and bunching up around the H5, the J5 area after they picked up that kill under Refuse Gaming, and they decided to push back to the north. Now Refuse Gaming there would have been maybe better for them to start rotating quicker. And they did have two members waiting over to that northern cap in the A6 and 7 areas, but obviously these almost found like Rival found an overmatch of their own.
Yeah, I mean there's a bunch of different ways to handle it honestly, and I think it's kind of a complex answer to really get into all the different ways that they could have responded to it while taking into account what Rival perhaps was looking for and how they would have adjusted to those responses itself. But in this instance, right now, I want to focus on the 3 T54s, 2 IS3s, and MT25 coming around the southeast side. World War II Fnatic being left in the F-Road in his 5100. Memory Leak being tasked there in the back with his LTTB. Probably is going to find Fnatic at some point and do some damage to him. If Fnatic doesn't have enough shells at that point in time, he will go down to the LTTB fairly easily. The rest of Rival running a nice classic kind of offense here. Gonna have to deal with the people in the southeast before they go anywhere.
That's right, and they are spotted. They know their Hall popping up the corner, 685 points of damage right off the bat, dropping to below half health there in his T4 lightweight. Again, not something want to happen so early on without doing any damage in return. Looks like Refuse Gaming were set up in maybe just better positions waiting for this to happen. EC3 and KT gonna be a nuisance there. This is that classic setup we've seen where as Rival, you can't just ignore these two T54s, but if you don't take them down quick without taking some punishment from Delta Village, it is not going well for you. David, World War II Fnatic, like you said, going down to Memory League. A couple more shots and he should go down there. The LTTB versus the 5100. Another shot going in. Now the shot's raining out. 173, 200 points with Memory League. There he goes, finding World War II Fnatic, and Drogon taking your tie down. Hall and the Django trying to find the overmatch that they can. EC3 going down, but KT finding Hall as Memory League finds Valkyrie. And now it is the Django versus KT here in the K0 battle. Obviously, it's got K written all over it, so KT should come out on top here, as he does have some help coming out of Memory League in the village, finding the fights. Now just the Django remains. Refuse Gaming showing a lot more precise, better tanking this time as last, maybe just better positioning, better strategy. The Django going down. Ladies and gentlemen, what do I say? Don't fight KT in the K area at all. Cool Hammer picking up the last kill. And Refuse extending that lead now 2-0. Congratulations to them for that win. That was a very black and white difference between the map, the first battle and the second battle. What was so different there?
Refuse came to play this time, and honestly, Rival probably struggling a little bit with their overall morale on the team. When you have a win that clearly and you lose it, it's very, very hard to
shake
come back from. Let's go to stats really quickly.
All right.
I know this is one of the matches in the overall night that people probably doubled up on, if they did it at all, which I don't think was a smart play. But as everybody knows, despite Rival's place in the standings, sometimes they
show
can play very
Absolutely.
well. Just still working out some kinks, right? So, for Refuse here, Rude Awakening taking the most in 131, getting the DPM, probably with the 85mm from what I could tell. LTTB, Memory League getting a full 5100. Living the dream. KT, the dream. E63, Drogon, Sublime. And the only cool not coming up with 1,000, but positional play and 2 pickups.
Yeah.
Very important. However, on Rival's side,
there's the problem.
Not so hot. Not so hot.
Sure. Now, we were just kind of talking about just the idea of, that's what Spanish was saying, is they want to find those shots and hit those shots. Unfortunately, that match, they just weren't doing it. Another thing to point out
I
is,
don't know if
is
they had
that
the shots that time.
sure, yeah, Refuse just kind of overwhelmed them in every single area of the map, and that World War II Fnatic in that 5100 going off against that LTTB. I mean, you called it right from the beginning. I mean, why was he there? And also, could he have gotten out in that position, or was he just kind of stuck?
No, once he gets in the F road, into the F road, when he was down closer to like the 3-4 area, he could have shot and ran, but the shots are terrible. He doesn't render half the tanks, so he has to go to where he was. And then in that instance, Memory Leak saw him and was just waiting.
Like, oh, you're
it's
mine.
Like, oh, count him out. And then once he gets, he drops like, I would say 5 to be safe, but 4 or 5, he can then go in there and kill him.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, now up Refuse Gaming 2-0 against Team Rival. We've now switched sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks and see if Rival can hopefully tie this one up for their sake on this first map of the third match of the night.
For Refuse Gaming, 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, an LTTB, and a WZ-131 for Rival. 2 teams with ours. Just
Rival Refuse.
Rough. 2 5100, 2 IS-3s, T-54 lightweight, 2 WZ-131s. It's the age of the light tanks.
Man.
Everyone running 2 7s in this match.
All right.
All of which are good tanks, as long as they're using the right ways. Refuse immediately starting out with a bit of a trap. Number of tanks lined up here on the F road, ready to fire down based on what Memory Leak sees. This could be a northern flank with all these lights after that happens. Kind of running Memory Leak there to the south in order to drag Rival to the south. They'll put the IS-3s there perhaps to help reinforce that. Now those light tanks could go anywhere. It's just one of the openings we've seen them take in the past. So perhaps they are running a full south, or perhaps that's how they'll run it next match. So they'll run it this way this match, kind of reinforce it in Rival's head that this is this is the
what
strategy.
we do. Sure.
Then they do it again the next game and go north. I don't know.
Head game,
Speculating.
mind game.
I honestly, if I were playing against Refuse, I would never try and actually get into their head. Because they play that game. And they want you to try and get in their head so they can play with yours. Best thing you can do against a team like Refuse is just play what you see and play a very even-handed, controlled defense. Maybe you can break out the meta in the head games on offense.
Sure.
But we actually are seeing a little bit of movement into the north. E63's T-54 backing up Memory Leak's LTTB. 63 spotted. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
Find out is HK. Taking a good chunk of damage up in that A7 line. in that WZ-131 there, having to back out. Memory Leak, I believe EC3 now both being spotted, so Team Rival does have some information that they have a couple tanks in the city. David, knowing that information, do you think Rival's safe to find the overmatch down here in the south, or no, I guess they have their 2 tanks to be even? Looking at the mini-map. Important thing to do when playing this game, ladies and gentlemen, keep track of the tanks. And it's obviously easier for us than it is for them, as we have this nice overside view. We've got every single tank, their positions. They only have when they are spotted, when the light bulbs are lit up on the enemy teams, that's when they only know where that one is for sure. Obviously, Deductive Freezing comes down. Sublime Banana, Cool Hammer, and KT all firing into Delta Village. Nothing connecting yet. Obviously, some blind fire going in there. And David, kind of looking at you, as we're kind of stalling this one out, Memory Leak and E63 deciding to kind of abandon that northern cap now, grouping back up in the city around the E4 line. I think they're just going to come join the Refuse or push the F road.
Perhaps coming down the F road. Looks like Memory Leak is at least. E63 backing him up a little bit. Maybe trying to get isolation on this IS-3 with a couple shots, but won't be so much isolation as you can see. 2 shots connecting with E63. Grand total of 676. Not a positive exchange for Refuse. Looks like they're still struggling to find the opening they're looking for.
Absolutely, as Memory Leak as well taking some damage, having to back out there. Not something you want as you pop out. Get not a lot. I think they got 1 shot in the hole and really 3 or 4 shots back into themselves. So they decided to kind of give it back on that, go back for that northern area. Now, where HK and Valkyrie are they set up pretty well to handle anything that Memory Leak and E63 can do?
Definitely, that's more damage and more HP, especially given how much E63 and Memory Leak have lost. It's not a fight they want. It's a fight they would almost guaranteedly lose.
All right, well, let's see. Django pushing on that WZ-131 around the side, trying to get maybe a good flank position, taking some damage himself. Cool Hammer trying to start the cap off. Urtai into Delta Village, taking some damage as well from Rude Awakening. And the cap has been set. Valkyrie and his IS-3 is coming down to join as HA going to the city. He's got to be careful, though, because if he runs into E63 and Memory Leak, that is not going to be a good exchange. A Sublime Banana takes down the Django right off the screen. A beautiful pickup there. And now it looks like Refuse Gaming decided to get off the cap. Coolhammer just pushing in Delta Village. They're trying to find some damage when they can. And they're going to find a shot going off into Anubis there. And his 5100 still has 6 shots ready and waiting. World War II Fanatic, beautiful focus fire there. 691 points of damage to his 5100. And now the response coming through. Leslie comes on top of this exchange. Valkyrie also taking some damage as well. Refuse Gaming starting to actually in a huge lead, over 2,000 HP points in Refuse's favor. But now Rival with the response. Let's see what they can do. Sublime Banana gonna be the focus of him. One more shot in his eye. 3. Here we go down. Rude Awakening though. Gonna pick up first time before anything can happen. KT body blocking Sublime Banana, doing a great job getting in front of Highman. Rude Awakening in the Delta Village, running right through, getting a drive-by and continuing on his way, getting around Valkyrie. Trying to find those shots in his eyes. 3. Drogon gonna find Anubis, and now Refuse Gaming have turned it on. Just 3 tanks remain for the side of Rival. Although Refuse Gaming are extremely low on a lot of their tanks, they have the massive amount of damage over the side of Rival, and they are going to use it. HK finding EC3, but KT gonna find Hall. Valkyrie getting surrounded. Now he goes down, and now it is just going to be HK by himself. Never taking some shots. Sounded like he was tracked there. Taking a little bit of damage. I'm not sure how much further he can get away. The repair has gone on, but 6 members of Refuse Gaming going against this poor tank. 389. One more shot. Let's see if he can find Cork on the corner. He gets tracked again. Not something what happened. Drogon, no, it's going to be Sublime Banana picking up the kill. Refuse now 3-0 against Rival Gaming. Now that was a match that kind of went slow, and then turned on there. Rival doing a good job, we were saying, getting some good damage. But where did they miss that opportunity?
So I would say it's less about Rival making a big mistake. That would probably be in lineup issues and some of the movement they made.
Okay.
And more about Refuse really attacking the Delta Village the way they needed to. Once they got Rude Awakening, it wasn't a comfortable call. As you could tell, it took them a minute.
Right.
And then when they went there, they took a lot of damage. People moving around.
Sure.
Just getting shot a lot.
Right.
But once it actually started, once Rude Awakening got into that area, got proxy spots on everybody,
right,
then he knew the call. And they took the right angles, and there was a moment there we had the camera directly on kind of a 90-degree corner, 5100s, Fnatic getting kind of pushed out, although he had already put in a clip.
So that's fine.
And you just saw the angles of all the lasers hitting everything from 2 sides exactly how it needed to be.
Absolutely.
Let's go to stats while we can.
Great.
Or this next match gets started. Drogon Pro leading up Refuse. 2241. Sublime Banana, Memory Leak, KT. E63, all around 1500 or less. Over here, for Refuse, or sorry, for Rival, I said these 2 R's. Not hitting, well, their penetration rates are okay. They just, again, don't seem like they're getting a lot of those shots that they need. They're not, it's positioning is what it looks like to me.
Okay.
It's like when they actually get in the fights, they're not playing that poorly. Their focus fire is okay. Their overall strategic concept isn't particularly whack. It's just the small tank positions that they're trying to use are nowhere near as refined as Refuse's.
Okay.
And Refuse is just taking advantage of it. As soon as they see it, they know where to go. Everybody gets there, and it's just over really quick.
Sure. Maybe just when we get to those brawls, just better tanking coming up for the side of Refuse Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, Refuse is now up 3-0 against Team Rival on Ruinberg. Let's get right into our next battle and see if they can get 4-0 before we go to the next map, or Rival can claim just 1. To be a nice kind of a breath that they can breathe. David, what do we got for tanks?
For Refuse Gaming, got that one right.
There
an
it is.
IS-3, T-32, 3 T-54 lightweights, an LTTB, and a WZ-131. For Team Rival, 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, a T-54 lightweight, and 2 WZ-131s.
Now, something that we just saw from, I think it was our last map there with Synergy versus Maple Freedom. The artillery coming out here, was that the last? That was the last match, right?
The artillery
coming out on
was
Ruinberg.
Last match, yes, with Synergy in the M44 there.
Now, tell me why we don't see that. You think we don't see that as much? Because it seemed to do very well for them.
People just aren't really running it. I mean, it's not that it's bad, but I think there's better lineups.
Okay.
And the artillery can work. It depends on how you use it. But anytime you bring an artillery, you're slave to it. You can't just let it go. Not like you can in any other tier 6 for the most part. And I generally like the double tier 7s on this map. Every team that's brought them has done very well with them for the most part, and typically beaten a team that brings the tier 6 in its place. And the 131 is really proving that it can put up a lot of damage on this map. So I just don't think it's the most ideal.
All right, let's see if any other teams will try that out, or if they're going to take your words of wisdom here. As Refuse Gaming now pushing up against the Django, who has to get out of the spot that he was in. Warlord, or WZ, I see that W. WZ 131 taking some shots into the Django. Nothing penetrating, and Rude Awakening taking some damage himself. 370 points going in there, coming out from the side of Delta Village. Now Refuse Gaming taking even more shots over there as Drogon Pro taking damage from mostly across the map. Up on top in the north, HK and Memory Leak going to start duking out here as Memory Leak putting some cap pressure in the northern base there. Base number 1 on your mini-maps, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, the damage coming out, resetting it up. And now the Django coming to join him over on the side. Those two light tanks against that LTTB. More damage going in the side. Let's see if Memory Leak can get out of their time, because it looks like they're just going to find the overmatch and take it. Memory Leak has to be careful. Wolf the 2 Fnatic. Let's see if Refuse Gaming can respond quick enough, as they now have an overmatch technically over in Delta Village. But Coolhammer taking a lot of damage, and over in the north, Memory Leak a couple more shots, and he should go down. Try and do as much as he can before he does. He might be escaping, might be going into the city. He looks like he actually is going to be getting away. HK trying his best to make sure that does not happen. Let's go over and check that out as he's trying to just dodge and weave inside the village is the Django. Memory Leak going through, but a track not to be want to have happen. It looks like a bounce shot going out there for the side onto Memory Leak. I think that's a very good though. There it is finally, HK picking that Refuse member up. And now those two tanks have to come back to rival before Refuse decides to push on, which is what they're doing. E63 and KT along with Drogon pushing into Delta Village, trying to get to control Coolhammer. And that T32 going to start applying some cap pressure. It is down to 89 seconds. Team Rival has plenty of time to respond to that. Now KT coming around the corner, but E63 picking up Urtai. People pick up there. Now 1-for-1 tanks down on both sides. It is evened up, but the HP is in the lead of Refuse as Rival is being dropped lower and lower. Anubis in that 5100 has to be very careful. Drogon Pro taking him out. Looks like he had plenty of shots to go. Not what you want to have happen from the side of Rival. Coolhammer finding World War II Fnatic. HK picking up Coolhammer in response. And now it is a 5-on-4. The favorite has switched into Refuse's hands. E63 though, 385 points of damage, getting dropped to below half health. Drogon now fighting against Hall and Valkyrie. Sublime Banana getting chased from the Django and HK. Let's see what Rude Awakening can do to try and keep Rival off of his teammates' backs. KT, a full T54 coming on the side. Shots ready. E63 picking up HK. Now just 3 tanks remain, and the health continues to dwindle on the side of Rival. 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Plenty of time for Refuse Gaming to clean this one up. KT running right up against Sublime and taking out Hall from the side there. KT finding Valkyrie, and now it is just the Django. Refuse Gaming said they're going to go up now 4-0 on our first map here of our third match of the night. KT making sure he can't go out of that side. A shot going in. EC3 double tapping, going through. A little bit of rand damage from the friendlies, but it's not going to matter. Again, Refuse, congratulations, now up 4-0. And I will say it again, the theme of the night. First map going up 4-0. That is something that's happened every single match so far. But Refuse Gaming, just after that first map, or after the first battle, really, like you said, just turning it on and showing that they're come to play and why they're on top.
A lot of teams got to get that fluke. I don't know if it's even a fluke. Rival played really well in that set or that game, but they gotta get slapped before they really wake up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Refuse looking awake for sure.
Oh,
Memory Leak when he was running actually tracked himself. Caught the crater, turned a little bit, landed sideways.
No. The crater.
These are the tricky parts about driving a scout. Anybody can run around and drive out willy-nilly and trolly.
You gotta be
Few people learn the terrain well enough to know how to hug the right things, to not get hit,
sure.
to surf the terrain, as I used to call it.
All right.
But anyways.
Before we get into stats, which I'm sure you want to do, Rival, a quick timeout here. Thought we'd let you guys know. It worked out for Maple Freedom the first time. They came back with a victory on Lakeville. Let's see if Rival can improve on that. But let's get into stats nonetheless as we check out some of the things. I'm learning. Yeah, this is what you like to do.
Chat's been going crazy for the stats the past couple of days. I kind of eased off on it, and they were like, "Where are the stats, man?
Give the people what they want."
The fans love the stats. All right, E63 M6 leading up Refuse, 20-57 hitting his shots. KT following him up, Drogon Pro right behind him with just a very small point disparity. Sublime Banana behind that. Everybody else doing what they needed to do positionally. That's why their numbers don't show so much.
Gotcha.
And then for Rival, it is what you see. Hull getting the most damage into his IS-3. Not the first time we've seen that happen. World War II Fnatic actually getting into his clip there. Only hitting 4 targets out of the whole thing, though. That is kind of a large amount of damage.
Maybe did he set on fire?
No. He got some pretty decent rolls, honestly.
Okay.
And the Django, 15 48. So what I saw is the first team out of all of the ones we've been watching that clearly, and some teams have done it well once or twice, or just completely negated the need to, like Elevate, for example. This is the first team I've really seen really work the village well.
Oh,
like
sure.
I've been talking about.
Delta Village.
Every time, you notice, every time Refuse got their tanks into the village, it was over.
They won.
It was over really soon.
That's true.
Because they knew the right angles, they knew the right valleys, or alleys. They hit them, they pushed down the 0 line. And even though they had just lost Memory Leak and they kind of had lower hit points and some questionable positioning going on, as soon as they took the 0 line and pushed all of Rival into the west, it was over. It was over right then and there. They actually almost threw it. They pushed 254s up and took a boatload of damage off IS-3s, which...
Not necessary.
There wasn't enough tanks there to really capitalize on that. I mean, if you're going to take damage from the IS-3, it needs to go down quick before it reloads again.
Sure.
They pushed 254s at it.
Whoops.
Didn't get either of them down. And then those IS-3s got to fire 2 or 3 times. And it was getting sketchy.
Yeah.
But overall, Refuse showing clear domination on Ruinberg.
Absolutely.
Barely scraping their way back in the first game.
First one.
But after that it was all their map the whole time.
Domination. Now, looking at the side of Rival, right? If you know, obviously, the importance of Delta Village, or maybe if now they're getting slapped and woken up and like, hey, this is how important this village is. Make sure you protect it with your life. What does Rival setup have to dictate to make sure that the Refuse can't just run in like they did?
It's not so much about them getting in to the Delta Village.
Oh, okay.
It's about how to respond once they're in there. So in Village, you can let somebody in,
okay,
and then you could even give them the 0 line, but you have to have other positions in the south,
gotcha,
and you have to push through in a very particular way with confidence. What made a lot of what worked there, or a lot of what worked there for Refuse, was they had another tank, an IS-3 that was kind of in the southwest away from, not the southwest corner of the map, but southwest away from the village. And I believe it was Sublime Banana, who is very typically this player for them. He's kind of what I'll call a standoff flank sometimes, or just sort of a guy who locks a lane, a roadblock, whatever you want to say.
Right.
So he's usually the one that's recessed, sniping from a distance with a tank that you're going to get punished for pushing. So he's often the guy you can't ignore, but you have to deal with.
Oh, man.
So in that instance,
this is the worst.
Refuse really helped that out, so they needed to not give up the 0 line. Once
right,
they saw him there, they can't pivot around the southwest side, so the 0 line it needs to be what they focus,
gotcha,
and then push, whatever.
Well,
it's going to get real complex.
Unfortunately for Rival, they just didn't do that in the last match. Refuse now up 4-0 as we're into our next map on Ghost Town, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if Refuse can take just one more and take it, or if Rival can claw the way back. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Refuse, 2 5100s and IS-3, 2 T-32s and 2 WZ-131s. For Rival, 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, a T-32, a T-54 lightweight, and a T-25. Refuse is on offense, so it's going to be a harder win for them to close this out if they want to 5-0 this, which obviously they do.
Obviously, right.
Who would? Rival, a little bit better position to defend. However, 2 5100s on this map can be a problem. You got to get him into the fight, as we've discussed a number of times. Getting him into the fight against Refuse, not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. Refuse has more T-32s, which on this map is turning out to be a significant thing, as there's a lot of terrain where as soon as you go around a corner and see a T-32 there, it's just like, well, nope, I can't go that way. So unless he's isolated, then you kind of put a 5100 on him, but with 2 5100s on a Refuse, you're kind of always wondering in the back of your head where those are as well.
Sure.
If Refuse keeps them hidden, locks down certain lanes with T-32 and builds cap pressure, they can very easily take it. Right now, Rival's not really in a position to reset the way any other team has been.
Right. No one in that A1 or 2 positioning there. What you've seen has been just a beautiful spot where you can get nice shots at that northern cap over and over and over again. Why do you think a team would choose not people there just in case?
Well, it looks like they're busy in the south, clearing that out and making sure that they can't be pushed into the middle area.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if that's the rest of their defensive strategy, if they want to flank very, very hard, or if this was just a phase to make sure they can't get capped in the 2 and then go north. But either way, the north pressure is on, and there are only 15 seconds left on cap, and Refuses going to defend this one.
That's right. Rude also being chased by a lot of members from Rival, but over here on the north, and this one want to focus on Hull. Hopping on the corner, taking a lot of damage and not getting the reset. It now looks like it's up to going to be Revan. to take the shot. He takes a shot. Nothing happens. Now down to 3 seconds. 2 more. Looks like the quick cap is actually going to work out for Refuse Gaming. The clock going down to 0. No, the reset comes out just in time. A beautiful pickup there. Looks like from Valkyrie in his IS3. And Urtai and HA coming around the corner. They said it's not over yet. They're going to try to fire their back, but Memberly picks up Hall. Too much damage coming out for that side. 4 seconds still on cap. Urtai and HK trying to do what they can. There's 3 resets coming through, but a lot of damage going out to the side of rival. Urtai extremely low against the 2 T-32s and IS3. Not much close to close combat. Cool Hammer dropping another tank, and now just 4 members remain for the side of rival. Man, that was explosive. When it happens, man, it happens with these teams. Refuse Gaming putting the pressure on. Cool Hammer picking up Revan, and now just Valkyrie, the Django Anubis here. Refuse Gaming looks like they're going to take their 5th victory against rival, making it 5-0 here on the Ghost Town. That cap pressure really doing wonders there for the offensive team. Rival, nothing they can do here. They're getting surrounded. Refuse Gaming not even take the risk of going down the cap. The Django trying to chase down E63 as he's almost on reload. 1 shot going out, 2 shots going out. Let's see if 3 will take him down before he goes down himself. The question is now the Django will take E63, doing his best, trying to put the team on his back, but it looks like for this round the team was just a little too heavy. Anubis dropping extremely low. Ruway coming around the corner. A beautiful double pickup. Anubis and the Django going down side by side. Just the Valkyrie remaining. 202 points of damage. 406 points of damage. 690 points of damage. Let's keep going until he goes down, ladies and gentlemen. 605. Dazzling time. Gonna pick that one up. 5-0. Very decisive win there for Refuse Gaming against Rival. Rival just seeming not like they just couldn't quite play at the same level as Refuse there. Both on Runeberg and also right there in the last moment. But the cap pressure, I mean, a lot. They had nothing to respond to that. They just were not in the position.
You know, Refuse actually could have capped it out. After they got that first reset, one of their T-32s had been the only one that got reset, from what I saw at least.
Okay.
They could have shuffled it around and allowed that T-32 to keep taking the damage and protected the other one. But they didn't care. They knew they had the tanks in hand, so they took them. From there as well, they could have just sat on cap. Many other teams would have, but no, they wanted to get those points. They wanted to clear it out.
Woo!
Quickly for stats, E63M6.
Killing it.
Taking the lead. 2,133 damage.
I got him on my team.
Memory Leak at 2,000. Sublime Banana and everybody else below. Interestingly, Drogon Pro not playing in that match.
Oh.
So perhaps he's not a player who plays all the time.
Maybe he isn't. Maybe he's just like Ghost Town.
Anubis and Valkyrie Viewus and Django all leading up for Rival. Those were really the last 3 tanks left, if I remember correctly. So that makes sense.
Yep.
Really just getting out positioned.
Yeah.
Pulled into the wrong part of the map. I don't know if that was an intentional defensive strategy or if they just got they bought something hook, line, and sinker.
Well, either way, Refuse with a very decisive victory, 5-0 against Rival. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our 3rd match of the night. Up next, our 4th and final match. #RU versus High Voltage. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.